Coming up next on the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast.
Vestibule, ATM. Ooh, I hope this isn't your first podcast that you've ever listened to of mine, because that would be really embarrassing.
From your first dollar to your first million, welcome to the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast, presented by ZenMade. Join your host, Stephanie Pipkin, founder of Serene Clean, as she shares proven tips, tricks, and hard-earned lessons. Whether you're just starting out or ready to scale, get ready to discover how to build your own cleaning empire. Let's roll up our sleeves and dive in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast. I am your host, Stephanie from Serene Clean. And in today's solo episode, I want to kind of spill some tea, I guess would be the phrase I would use for this. It's not piping hot tea, but it is kind of interesting. A new flavor of tea that I've never experienced when it comes to a client wants to cancel. And I actually posted about this particular situation in the ZenMade Mastermind over on Facebook. So side note, go hop in there and join there. If you are not a member, completely free. You don't need to be a ZenMade customer to join the mastermind and post and go for advice. And this is a situation I needed advice on because it was something I'd never run into before. And so to give you some backstory, this client has been a customer for, I believe, 5 years of ours. It is a commercial account, one of my first, and it is a bank. So I am going to tell you that it is a bank location that we service multiple locations on. And the way this cancellation came about, some of it is, routine as expected. Like, I knew at the end of the day that this account was going to be gone based on the scenario, but how it unraveled was a bit unusual. And that's why I just want to kind of do a little story time today, explain what happened, some of our takeaways, our thought processes with this particular decisions that we were making, and any lessons learned that I feel are pertinent to share with you guys. Because, I like to just be transparent and tell you what's going on in Serene Clean. If you are not familiar with who the fuck I am right now and who's talking to you, my name's Stephanie. I own a cleaning service in Western Wisconsin, and it is about 27 to 30 staff members, and we are 50% commercial, darn near. So though I talk a lot about residential cleaning on this podcast, and I love residential, commercial is, of course, a huge portion of revenue for us. And so we focus heavily on commercial, making sure our commercial clients are happy. We're super robust in our quality control, communication, all of that. Very important to us so that we have excellent quality and don't have clients dropping, right? And so it always, on the surface sucks when a client drops, but sometimes it is for good reason, and it's not like a painful goodbye. In this situation, this is not a painful goodbye. So obviously going to protect anonymity. What the fuck is that word? Being anonymous. Anonymity. Anemone? What the fuck? I'm crashing out right now. I feel like I'm in Finding Nemo where they're trying to say anemone, but I'm trying to say anonymity. Anonymity. Got it. Okay. Keep that in. Don't cut it, guys. I got it. Just keep persevering. Okay. Just don't quit and you'll get there eventually. You can tell it's late in the day. I'm tired. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the initial letter from this client, and it was just strange. And this is actually what I shared in the mastermind, but I'm going to read it to you guys so you can hear the verbiage used and then our response and kind of what we were thinking. So let's just hop right into it. So backstory. We service 3 locations for this particular bank, okay? And there is one main larger location and then 2 smaller locations, one that is in the same town and one that is in a different town, but not that far away. So we've been cleaning at these, like I said, for years, a long-term commercial client. So this is a letter that we got from the bank facilities manager. Hello, I wanted to inform you that on October 1st, 2025, at the 2 locations, this location and this location, our bank will no longer need your cleaning services at these locations. This is very hard to come to this decision, but we have decided to go into a different direction. I wanted to emphasize this is not a performance issue with Serene Clean. This is strictly a business decision. We've considered our options, and at this time, this is what is best for these locations. We do make exceptions to do business with our customers. If in the future Serene Clean was to become a customer of our bank will consider your proposal as well as other proposals to perform the tasks necessary to have our locations ready for our daily business for both our internal and external customers. On the last night of cleaning, September 30th, 2025, at this location, you will leave any access control fobs and keys in the office. Otherwise, you can turn any keys or fobs at our main large location, with the lead teller, sincerely, facilities manager. And so that was the letter that we got on the email. So our gut reaction was, this is strange to only be cutting services at the smaller locations. That was the initial reaction of like, well, why is this happening, right? And so the nice thing is, obviously, he said, this is not a performance issue. This is nothing to do with like what Serene Clean is doing. So our kind of gut takeaway was clearly they have somebody that they are interested in doing the cleanings at these smaller locations, but perhaps cannot take on the work at the larger location. And that was kind of when I posted in the mastermind, that was some of the feedback. Additionally, other than poor grammar in this letter, you guys can't read it, but like it is written kind of strangely. But the whole thing that everybody in the mastermind was kind of like attuning to, and that we also were like, this is really weird, saying this: we do make exceptions to do business with our customers. If in the future you were to become a customer of us, we would consider your proposal as well as other proposals to perform the tasks necessary, blah, 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 right? Like that felt very strange and unnecessary to say, and also kind of just like, you're holding this over our head. Like, are you trying to bribe us or trying to like blackmail us almost into becoming a customer of this bank? Because we're not a customer for that bank, obviously. And it was just a really strange thing to say. And it was like, and that was what several commenters had said, several members of the group had said, like, this is not weird. And it almost feels quid pro quo, which is like, tit for tat or whatever. You know what that phrase means. We know what it means. Can I explain it? Not exactly, but I know what it means. And so it wasn't necessarily like a bribe or anything like that, but it was just a really strange thing to put into the letter, right? Like unnecessary. And it really lent to like, so if we switched to you guys, you wouldn't be canceling on us. Like it just was very strange. So anywho, we talked as a management group, and obviously we're like, well, if the smaller ones are going, the bigger one is going to go too eventually. We wanted to keep it if possible, of course, but in our minds, it's like, they're not going to be going to two vendors. It's a small area. Like most likely this is going to get dropped as well. So we kind of went back and forth with ChatGPT, because that's what we do when we have to respond to more like complicated matters or difficult things, whatever, that we're always going to run our responses through ChatGPT and make sure that we're not like forgetting about something, or we are very careful in our terminology and our words. So it's a great tool for that type of thing. So talked to my management team. I posted in the mastermind, and we're like, okay, I think we should address this, meaning that third paragraph in the letter of like, I feel like we need to call him out of like, hey, this is not okay to do this based on regulatory practices in banking, which is like, you can't, basically, it feels like an insider thing, or like you're giving like preferential treatment to somebody that it just like, it felt really weird. And we weren't suggesting he was like breaking the law, but it just, something about it felt very fishy. And so, going back and forth with ChatGPT, we kind of learned more about what the regulations look like. And so I'm going to read our response, and we decided to respond over email. And some of those suggestions in the mastermind were like, go above him. And it's like, he's actually our main contact. I mean, we don't have any other, I guess we could have to go, I don't even know who would be above him, but he is the facilities manager. That's strictly who we have contact with. He also came in about a year or two ago, because we had a great experience with our previous contact. This was a new manager, and we've had, a variety of kind of issues of expectations and things of what, this isn't included in the bid and you're asking for things. And there was a bit of push, I would say headbutting on what is our responsibility, what versus what's not. Overall, it was fine, but he definitely frustrating to deal with at times. So this is our response. Hi, manager. Thank you for your message regarding the small location and the other small location. We value the relationship we have built with your bank and the opportunity to serve your facilities. That said, we are confused by the reasoning given for the cancellations. At no time during the proposal process or in our signed agreement was banking with your bank presented as a requirement for janitorial services. Our contract simply requires a 10-day written notice to cancel services, which your letter has provided. Introducing banking status as a condition after the fact is inconsistent with the agreement and creates confusion about the ongoing partnership at the main bank location. We would appreciate written clarification as to whether our services at the main bank will continue independently of our banking relationship, or whether that location is also at risk if Serene Clean does not become a customer of yours. For context, we provide services at multiple other banks in the area, and none have requested that we move our business banking relationship in order to maintain service. Additionally, we want to note respectfully that tying banking relationships to unrelated service contracts can raise concerns under federal banking regulations, as banks are generally discouraged from conditioning contracts in this manner. While we prefer not to frame this as a compliance issue, it is important that we are all clear on the basis for decisions. We remain committed to providing consistent, high-quality cleaning services and ensuring a smooth transition at the smaller locations. Please confirm whether service at the main bank are expected to continue under agreement regardless of where Serene Clean banks, right? So we called him out. We're like, hey, bro, is this a requirement? If so, that's pretty shady. We threw our hat in the ring, if you will. And so he didn't like that. I thought we handled it really professionally while also addressing it. Maybe you guys are like, no, you should have just let it drop. I don't know. This is how we went about it so that we felt good about it. So when it comes to how he responded, okay, because he did get huffy. So in this response, he did require some additional services added to the main bank. So we'll talk about this because this whole situation is a little bit complicated. So that's why I'm running through this all chronologically, right? So he got back to us and he's like, hey, Katie, at our main location, I've indicated that I would like additional services be added. Email sent. Oh, he sent that and because we hadn't responded previously yet. So they wanted these things added. Clean our exterior tube stations, deal drawer, night deposit box, and our lobby vestibule, ATM in the lobby on the outside that people can access from the outside. I'm just butchering English today. Woo, I hope this isn't your first podcast that you've ever listened to of mine because that would be really embarrassing. I promise I have a pretty good vocabulary. Today is a struggle. So at where the ATM sits, where people can access in from the outside, I've noticed that these units are sometimes excessively dirty and would like these cleaned. And I have indicated these should be cleaned once every 2 weeks during spring, summer, and fall. Currently, I am not planning on changing services at the main location. Just the grammar in this is terrible. He needs to use ChatGPT. Like, come on, man. Like, this is like, you guys can't see it, but like just unnecessary commas. Since I have been employed by this bank in the facilities department, I have been tasked with the services at 9 locations. I have been asked to review all of the services that are affected by facilities. I have been asked to cut costs where I can and to provide additional services when it is in the best interest of our bank. I review every aspect that I oversee. I ask myself, if this money were to be paid out of my personal checkbook, would I make this same decision? And I base most of my decisions with this moral compass. I also consider the impact to the bank's bottom line, to our employees, customers, and to our board of directors. At this time, I felt there was a change needed at the smaller locations. And yes, to answer your question in bold, it is not a requirement for a business to be banking with us and to perform work services at the sites. Our banks utilizes a lot, ALLOT, a lot of vendors and businesses that do not use our bank for their banking transactions. This does not exclude our bank from utilizing their services. As you imply from your email that our bank is selecting a different business because of banking transactions or being a customer of our bank, this is not entirely true. Since I have been employed by our bank, I have been encouraged to patronize businesses that utilize our bank for their business, but it is not a requirement. If there are businesses/vendors that provide quotes to our bank for services, our bank will consider both customers and customers the same. If the services specified are the same, our bank would select a customer's bid over a non-customer. I hope that clarifies your question currently. So poorly written yet again. Get on ChatGPT, man. So it felt like he went back on what he said, or like that did not match at all the first email, because why bring it up at all? If you're saying it's not a requirement, we consider them both the same. Like, it was so unnecessary for him to put in there. It felt like he was telling on himself by saying, a customer of ours is doing cleaning and that's why we're switching. Where he could have just said it was a money thing or something like that, because clearly now he's bringing finances into it. Like, the whole thing was just felt like messed up and unnecessary information, or even like the way he's communicating feels very defensive. Like, I asked myself, if this money were, in my personal checkbook, like, dude, too much information, man. Like, and again, like, this isn't my problem, but I'm just telling you guys this story. And so it was really interesting to see him get a bit hot, but it's like the only reason we brought this up is because you said it in your first email, right? So just whatever. And so, okay. Now on to the next portion. So here we are. They're asking for more services, some external stuff, which we do not do exterior work at all. That's kind of a hard and fast rule for us for a variety of reasons, risk wise, scope creep, it's a lot and that's not what we hire our cleaners to do. So that is never an expectation that they are, exceptions and caveats, like if somebody has like a glass door and they want us to clean the outside of the glass doors on like entryways, we will do that. That's not a problem. But anytime we're talking about like going out into it's like, for example, he was talking about like the tubes where you stick the thing up at banks. He wanted those all dusted, and it felt like, no, we're not interested in doing that. We would do the ATM thing though. That's for sure. That's not a problem because that is technically inside the vestibule. Vestibule, I think is how we're going to go with that pronunciation. Okay. So now to give you context of what's going on in Serene Clean at the same time that this is happening, we are doing pricing audits on all of our commercial accounts. And this has been going on for about a month now that we are like, we're going to do price increases this quarter on our commercial accounts that it's necessary. So what that looks like is doing production rate audits, seeing how much are we making per hour of actual cleaning time, like how long is our cleaners taking it, double checking with the cleaners to make sure that that is an appropriate amount of time that we have given them. Do we need to increase time, therefore money? And then just in general, like, are these prices in alignment with what we are bidding current commercial accounts at, right? Like, are we making in the range? Not that we charge hourly at commercial, but when we do the math, like say, we charge them $1,000 a month and we're spending 10 hours, I don't know, a month there, then you do the math, right? Like how much are we making a month or an hour there if we were to charge hourly? So just so that we can compare everything and see where we're at. So we did that for all of our commercial accounts, and we have not done price increases on commercial accounts on like a regular basis. So what we want to establish is that every single year we are going to be doing a pricing audit and price increases where we need to. And so that is not something we have done as like a systematic approach. It's been really sporadic of like, ooh, this account is really low. Let's look at this individual account. But we haven't really done it as like an across the board. All of our commercial accounts at this time of year are looked at, and we do this, right? And so what we wanted to establish was for all of our commercial accounts, even if they're not getting a price increase, we want to send them an email that says, hey, this is the time of year that we do this. You're not getting a price increase, just so you know, to make them feel good that they're not getting a price increase, but to let them know that next year at the same time, we will be looking at this and there potentially will be, basically to give a heads up and get into this routine, because otherwise this particular account has never had a price increase, like ever, right? And so we've never done a price increase at them or for them. And so keeping that in mind, we're like, all right, this is happening. They're cutting 2 of the locations. We just did this pricing audit and they are well below what our going rate is for commercial. They've never gotten a price increase, right? And now they're asking for more tests to be done, right? So we're like, you know what? We're okay if this drops. We know that eventually it's going to drop, right? Because clearly they're dropping 2 of the locations. They are looking at this. And even if they kept it at the main bank, maybe we're just being a little sour too of just this whole like weird customer, like you need to be a customer thing that he tried to back down on. So we're like, all right, let's do a price increase. We were already going to in like a month. We were like looking at all of these to do in the next month. And so we're like, well, now's the time. We'll just let them know like, hey, we were already looking at this. And since we're already in conversation, this is what the new price is going to be. And you have never gotten a price increase and et cetera, et cetera. And with these new tasks, this is what it's going to cost. Additionally, we asked the cleaner there, the regular cleaner, like, do you have enough time? And if we add a couple more tasks, like what does that look like? And he was like, no, there's not enough time to add more. So like, I'm already struggling. I'm already hustling really hard to get through the current stuff and not have quality issues. So if we add even more, we're like, no. So we're like, okay, we need to add 15 more minutes to each cleaning, because I think it was 3 times a week. And so we're like, well, it's a time increase because of that, which really isn't the customer's problem. But if we're adding more tasks, then we can, of course, relay that or relate them all together. And then 2, you've never got a price increase, right? So, okay. So this is how we responded, because we're like, are we gonna keep poking the bear about this, like, and call him out? I'm like, no, you said this and do this. And we're like, nope, let's just drop it. We made our point. This is probably going to drop anyway with this price increase, right? And here we go. Hi, sir. Thank you for your clarification regarding services at the main bank location. The smaller branch will have a final cleaning date of 9/25, and the other smaller bank last night of cleaning will be on September 30th. A final invoice will be sent after those dates to include the prior month of services and last cleaning at each location. Regarding your recent request, we can certainly add the lobby vestibule ATM, that word's going to kill me. Vestibule ATM cleaning as a weekly task to our routine services there. Given that this is a high touch area, adding it weekly will help maintain consistency and ensure it stays clean. Caveat, we do not like bi-weekly tasks at commercial accounts because it gets confusing and forgotten for the cleaner. So we try to make things at least minimum once a week so that we can have it consistently in the notes. So it's not like, well, was it done last week? And trust me, like from experience, cleaners will be like, oh, it's probably done last week, right? So, or they forget, right? So it's not their fault. It's so much easier when it's like every week on Fridays we do this thing, right? We can begin including the ATM cleanings as early as this week. Exterior equipment, however, is not part of our scope of work, so we won't be adding those tasks. Normally, adding a new task would come with a pricing increase to account for the extra time required. Being that we are beginning our annual review of all commercial accounts, we can tie this change into that process instead of adjusting pricing two separate times. Taking time to complete this account audit delayed my response time, and I appreciate your patience. Good job, Katie, on how you worded that. While we have always reviewed accounts regularly, in past years, increases were handled with less formal structure. Since services began at the main bank in June of 2021, so we've serviced them for over 4 years, your rate has remained unchanged despite increases in wages and operating costs. As our business has grown, we are now using a structured annual review process to ensure consistency and transparency across all accounts. Through the audit, we identified the need to increase the scheduled time at each cleaning to ensure the full scope of work, current services provided, and including the new ATM task can be consistently completed to standard. This adjustment keeps the service length aligned with the actual requirements of the facility. Effective November 1st, 2025, your new billing rate for the main bank will be blankety blank. And by the way, we bill them twice a month. So there are accounts that will let you do that. Many of our commercial accounts that are larger lets us bill twice a month, which is great for cash flow. Side note, you guys can make that happen. This adjustment supports the continued investments we made in our team and community, investments that directly enhance the quality and consistency of the service you receive. Some of these initiatives include, and then we explain all of the benefits that we have added since we have started working with them, and the community impact, blah, blah, blah. So your continued partnership make these programs possible, and we are proud to involve our employees in efforts that give back to the community while also ensuring our technicians are supported and motivated to provide exceptional service. If you have any questions about this change, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks again for allowing us to serve your business. We look forward to continuing to provide you with exceptional care in this year ahead and for many years to come. Thank you, Katie. Good job, Katie. So typically we would not go into that much detail or anything like this. It was a big jump. Okay, so to get them to actually the correct rate or even within the ballpark, not even at our like current going rate, but to get them up into like an appropriate rate considering how much costs have gone up for us over the past 4 years since they've never got a price increase, we gave detail. And we knew that since this particular guy, likes to be the way he is, we're like, let's give a little bit more detail, knowing full well this is about to cancel. And so this is what the internal conversation was in management. Do we do a very moderate price increase and for them to stay on knowing that they're under our going rate? Or do we give them the full shebang price increase so that they are up to where they need to be so that if they stay, we're making what we need to be. If they cancel, we can then move that cleaner to higher paying accounts. That was the discussion. And so looking around the room saying, are we okay if they drop? Yes, that's okay. Because they most likely are, because this is a bigger price increase, right, than typical. But that was because we needed to add more time so that the cleaner had more time. And so again, does the customer care about that? No. They don't, because it's a flat rate price, right? Like they are like, we don't care about that. But we knew for us to be at the profit margin that we need to be at for our commercial accounts going forward and paying the wages that we are, there needed to be a decent price increase, right? And so we pretty much were like, yeah, either they're going to pay a higher price or they're going to drop. Both of those are okay with us, right? And that was kind of the conversation. And I know that might seem cavalier, especially with like, a decent sized account like this. I know that you may be like, why would you do that? Whatever. I don't know what you're saying actually right now. Who knows? You're probably not saying anything at all because I'm the one babbling. So, but these were the thought processes going through our head, and I was okay with the account dropping. It sucks. We've had them for 4 years. Obviously the quality has been good for them, and it's been a decent partnership. but it's more so of really like analyzing of like, okay, staffing is still and always will be a huge issue for us. So the accounts that we do have, they need to be making good margins. We need to squeeze as much profit out of every single cleaning hour that we can. And if there's an opportunity cost here, if we could have that cleaner at different accounts and allow the cleaners that are on those accounts who are hybrid cleaners, open them up for residential, which we can charge at $55 an hour. Okay, that's literally how we spelled it out of like, okay, Matt's the cleaner at these banks. If Matt can do Brittany's accounts, which are commercial accounts because she's a hybrid cleaner, that opens Brittany or Tristan, who is also another hybrid cleaner, up for residential during the day because right now they're getting pulled into the evening work because we need them for coverage. And then we can charge $55 an hour for Brittany's time instead of what's happening now. That's literally how we logic through this, right? Of like, okay, this is a money decision. This is strictly a money decision. We're not bleeding hearts doing this because they're not a residential client where we will make that decision, right? Like I have made many decisions related to residential cleaners where I'm like, no, we're not making our typical hourly rate. Totally fine with me. Like we're doing this because it makes us feel good because we care. With a commercial bank, there's no emotions here, right? I mean, there is that loyalty, but clearly they are not loyal to us, right? They just canceled on us for 2 accounts and because we are not a customer of theirs, right? Like he would not bring that up if that was not some weird like jab or something like that. So maybe I was just feeling particularly salty or not giving a fuck if they dropped. And it's not like I don't want their business. That's not it at all. It's like dollars and cents. Does this make sense, right? And so as expected, they dropped. I'll read you the response. Hi, Katie. I've reviewed your current email and I understand periodic price increases due to cost, wages, insurance, etc. I cannot justify accepting a 31% price increase for the services that we are receiving. Even though I had mentioned that I was not going to change cleaning services at our main location, I am rescinding this statement. I will plan on changing cleaning services at our downtown location. Starting on November 1st, 2025, we will no longer need your cleaning services. Please let Matt know that he's done a very good job for us since he's been cleaning for us. On the last day of cleaning, blah, blah, blah. You know, fobs, keys, all that stuff. And I want to thank you for the cleaning that you provided. So we came back and explained like, well, this is what it is, like, blah, blah, blah. Are you sure? Like, meaning I want to clarify one point to ensure there's no misunderstanding. This new price per billing cycle rate we outlined reflected both the annual price increase and the addition of more scheduled time each cleaning along with the new ATM task. That combination made it appear as though the change was a 31% increase, which it was. And so the thing is we're clarifying is like, listen, to keep doing the job this well, we need to add more time because Matt does not have enough time. And so, you know, that's what this would be. So they canceled as expected, and this is, you know, a decent chunk of money every single month that we are losing, but we're okay with it. And that was just from that logic of the opportunity cost of what that cleaner can do. And if we had done a moderate price increase, they would still be under, I believe, $40 per hour on average of what it takes for us to be there, 40 or 42, which, okay, I know some commercial, like that's probably good. For us, we can get more. We can get more. I know that we can because of what our market rate is, what our current clients are getting charged at. The price increases that we're doing and being accepted are at a higher rate. So it's like, this is a decision that you guys have to make of like, what is it, the rate that you're willing to have somebody drop over, right? So for us, if they're under $40 an hour at commercial, they need to drop, or they need to be increased, I should say. And if they drop, we're willing to handle that because we know that we can get new commercial accounts and or just fulfill that spot with residential, since we do our cleaners mostly hybrid, right? Meaning they can do both residential and commercial. And so when we have the amount of techs that we do and we are struggling with turnover, we are struggling with adding more people to our crew and growing the business, that means that we only have this finite amount of labor resource, right? And so every single hour of that labor that we have available, we need to make as much money as possible out of that, right? Because our fixed costs aren't changing. So that's kind of the thought process. And I know that may just seem like cavalier, not caring if we lose customers. That is not the case. As you guys know, I'm a psycho about quality. I care very deeply about our clients and our customers and just the whole business in general. But this is a good example of like, sometimes it's okay. It is okay if they drop. It's not a good fit anymore, clearly, because they are not going to pay what we need to be paid in order to be competitive in all of these different areas. And honestly, it's just if someone wants to cancel on a couple locations, like I truly felt like it was down the road anyway. So it's like if they're going to stay, they better be paying what we can charge elsewhere. And that's that. So that was kind of the decision-making process there. And I don't know, maybe I'm curious to hear what you guys think on this situation. It was the first time we've ever had this. Of course, we've had people cancel before, and we've had commercial cancel before because of cost or whatever. So this was just kind of unusual with that like weird thing thrown in about like being a customer. And that kind of just rubbed us the wrong way, or just made us a lot less like caring if they stayed or not. Cause like that just felt unnecessary. That felt unprofessional. And then when we called them out on it, then to kind of clap back and get a little bit sassy or trying to make it that we were suggesting something that wasn't correct, where it's like, no, we're just saying what you said, but in a more eloquent manner and just calling you out on it. So all of that to be said, it's okay. It's okay that they dropped. We've already kind of got a plan in place for Matt's schedule and what that's going to look like. And honestly, sometimes this is exactly what needs to happen to open up the door for new opportunities to come in, because, you know, maybe there's a commercial account that we can take on now that we haven't been able to because we didn't have the availability. So all is well. Turnover does happen on clients sometimes. Obviously, if this is happening a ton, this is a problem. Of course, we don't want this happening a ton, but this is a perfect example of like it's a natural life cycle of business. People switch vendors for a variety of reasons. We want to be as sticky as possible as for commercial, and we darn well don't want them canceling because of low quality. So I feel good. I can sleep at night with this whole situation, that we handled it the way that we needed to, and it's going to be okay. Like, it's going to be okay. But I kind of want to just to read through the entire thing for you guys, so you know kind of how we handled it, the decision-making process through it, and also just to let you guys know, shit like this is going to come up where you're like, I don't know how to deal with this. Like, I've never dealt with this. How do I respond to this? Right? Like, this still is going to happen years and years into business where you're like, well, haven't seen this before, or customers never acted like that before. And so just really making sure you're analyzing like, okay, what is the consequences of both paths? Or maybe there's multiple paths that you could take. What is the consequence of each? Pros and cons. If they stay, if they go, if we address it, if we don't, like all of these things of like, okay, we stood our ground. We are charging what we need to and what we know we can get, like all of these things. We know the quality is there. We know all of these things, right? So like if they drop, it's okay. We're going to be okay. We are confident in our ability to get business. We're confident in our ability to perform at a really high level when we do get the business. So yeah, shit happens sometimes, guys. I guess that's, TLD, too long didn't watch, TLDW. Yeah, too long didn't watch, but you are. So whatever. If you're reading this transcript, TLDW, shit happens. That's what I got to say. Wow, I'm just profound in this one, guys. So if you made it this far, thank you for listening to my ramblings. I hope you found it mildly entertaining. Please leave a comment down below what you think of this. How would have you handled this? Would you have done something differently? Would you have gone and tattled to the boss? What would you have done in this situation? I'm curious to know. Leave it down in the comments. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. Though I don't know with this particular performance today, is it worth it? I don't know. Maybe unsubscribe and then resubscribe just to like make me feel bad for this like shitty performance I've just given you guys. I'm kidding. I'm just tired, okay? So anyways, have a good day, guys. I'll see you in the next episode of Filthy Rich Cleaners. Bye.